Good evening, world. Welcome to Jews World Podcast. Trying to get y'all straight, Facebook. Welcome TikTok Live. Welcome to Jews World Podcast. This is episode 54. We're talking about misalignment. Silent but deadly. We're talking about misalignment tonight. I went down a wormhole about this topic for a while now. I know I did the reel about 2 weeks ago, and I was thinking about all of the mistakes that we made in our life, all of the decisions we decided to take, all of the routes we decided to go on. We think about that. That's misalignment. Because we didn't wait on God to instruct us, so we just acted off of impulse and our own desires, right? Because God don't tempt us. We tempt by our own desires, the things that we want eternally. Only you know those. But what is really alignment? What is alignment? Alignment isn't failure. Misalignment isn't failure. Misalignment isn't struggle. Misalignment isn't bad luck. Misalignment is being out of position. And being out of position is you're not exactly where you need to be, where God needs you to be in order to help you progress in His life and show you what He has for you and helping you navigate through tough times in life, because we're all going to experience tough times. That's something we're always going to experience. Like I said, you're not lost, you just misplaced. You might feel like you lost. You might feel like everything is just going against you, like you against the world. But you're not, you're just out of position. You just misplaced. You're not where you need to be, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And when I talk about misplaced, you got to think about it. I'm breaking it down from mentally and internally and externally. So you can be misaligned internally and externally. What up, Pete? Thank you for tapping in, cuz. Appreciate you chopping in. My Gemini twin, my guy. Appreciate y'all. Salute you. It's two ways you can be misaligned, though, internally and externally. And internally is just your thoughts and your truth. See things for what are projected to you, not for what they really are. Because everything is smoke and mirrors. That's why it's always so important to pray for discernment. Because discernment is going to help you. Really, you're going to read the room. You're going to read the energy. You're going to read the vibe. You're going to feel your energy and your soul be like, nah, we don't need to go over there. Nah, we don't need to do that. Nah, we need to focus on this. It's going to be science that's going to help you lead you back on track. And the external misalignment is when you're in places and environments and around people that's not conducive to your growth. Like, you have goals set in mind. Your life is on a different tier. You have kids. You have things you have to focus on. You can't do things like you once did when you were single. Just using that as an example. If you got kids, you got to move like you a father. You can't move like you don't have no responsibilities. So we have to look at that too. And so all of those things play a part in us ensuring that we stay on the right path and get in alignment. Because you think about it, everything that we've been through, every bad relationship, every job, every experience we've had that's been everything but pleasant, everything but peaceful and loving, it's because of our misalignment, the decisions we made. We move without God giving us the go. We move off of impulse, we move off of emotions, we move off of our own sheer dark desires, or what we think in our ideology, or what we feel like our life should look like. Like I said once before, we are made in God's image. We're made in their image. And that's just not physically, that's spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. We're made in their image. We can't exist without them. We can't move without them. We can't even breathe without Him. So what make us think we can think without Him? That's the thing that we need to convey. We have to understand that. And that's how we get misaligned, because we try to think for ourselves when we get ourselves in bad situations. Yes, God is there to pull us out, but we put ourselves in there. So it's so important for us to take accountability for the things that we allow to happen in our life, and the places that we are, and the things that we participate in. But these are a few things that I wrote down through my journey of being misaligned. Peace is going to feel unfamiliar. These are the signs that you're not aligned. Your peace is going to feel unfamiliar. You're not going to be able to sit by yourself. You always got to go and do and get up and move. You can't just sit by yourself, enjoy yourself, sit in your house, and sit with yourself in your imperfections and talk to yourself and figure things out and evaluate yourself and analyze the things that you've done, even the things you think you're right on. It's always important for us to hold ourselves accountable and be more strenuous on ourselves about, and be more hard on ourselves about the decisions we make and the things we do and the things we entertain, right? You have to have discipline. You have to have boundaries. So peace feels unfamiliar. This is when you misalign. You shrinking. You over-explaining yourself on something that you decided to do was best for you. Because why should we have to explain to anyone on the face of this earth why we're doing what's best for us? Why we're doing what things that we think that we need to do for us? Discussing spiritual and emotional alignment in life. That's what we're talking about. Spiritual and emotional alignment in life. That's what the main foundation of it is. We have to, like I said, we have to take accountability, because we can't get in alignment if we don't take accountability. That's the main thing about it. You feel drained doing things that you should do. Things that you should enjoy do, like sitting with yourself, reading a book, looking at a movie, just relaxing, sitting in the house, taking a nap, something simple, painting or drawing or taking a walk in the park. Those things right there, that if you can't enjoy those simple things and you feel like they're boring, that means you're misaligned. Because we have to also appreciate the simple things in life. Those matter more than the big things in life. If you can't appreciate the little things, how can you appreciate the big things? How can we do that? We can't. Because it's all about the foundation of life. Because if you don't take care of your business and get your foundation straight in your life when it's pertaining to your peace, your love, your emotional intelligence, and just being able to navigate through life in its toughest times, you don't have any resilience for yourself, how are you going to survive? Because God said life isn't going to be easy. Especially when you're trying to walk in alignment, when you're trying to put your best foot forward and be the very best version of yourself that you can. When you get tired of the worldly things, you get tired of all the same thing over and over again, the same story, the loop of the same situations, just the same spiritual entities in a different frame, in a different person. You get tired of that, coming up short. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but still expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And we have to really take a moment to really look at ourselves and sit back and be like, everything that I'm involved in right now, everything I'm putting my energy in right now, everything and everybody who has attachments to me, are these attachments pushing me to be the best mother, father, husband, wife, sister, brother, parent, dad, mama, grandmother, whomever, the best child, like the best sibling? You have to look at it. You have to evaluate your life from that lens. You need to look at the whole picture, the whole panoramic view. You have to step back from the smoke and mirrors. We have to. And stepping back from the smoke and mirrors, you'll be able to see things more clearer. Normally, 9 times out of 10, the most far-fetched thing that's on the first thing in your mind, that's normally the truth. Because the truth in reality doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Because everything that we think we know, everything that we stood on, everything we were raised on, even our social constructs, religious constructs, of the foundation on which we were raised on, when you get older, you realize you could use some of those things and tweak them and add more to it to make where it means more. Or you just throw it to the side and be like, I don't know why I thought that. That made no sense, just because you don't know any better. So in this process of life, you're going to have to unlearn what you've learned, and you're going to have to relearn the true definition of what God was talking about. Tapping into your Christ conscious, getting into alignment with God, where you just flow. You live with yourself, your lightness, your darkness. You live with it. You sit there and you accept yourself, and you like, you know what? I made some bad decisions in my life, but that doesn't define me. Life is full of mistakes. Life is all about experiences. But what do you do after you experience those experiences? Are you going to lay down and waddle them? Or are you going to take the silver lining and the things that hurt you and turn around for something that's going to push you to be a better version of yourself? Because especially if you're a parent, every child deserves to have a healed parent. Because how can we show up for our kids thoroughly and 100% if we aren't healed ourselves? How so? That's why alignment is so important. It's just not for you. It's for your family. It's for who's around you. It's for your loved one. It's for your circle. That's what alignment is all about. And another version of it, another thing I wrote down for a sign that you're out of alignment is you're constantly adjusting to other people's energy. You can't think for yourself. I think Dolph said it best. He said, I don't like to be around a lot of people. How can I think for myself? How can I improve myself if I'm around people all the time? People going to start trying to think for you. You have to take time to yourself, and you have to adjust. You don't have to adjust to your friends. If they like things that you don't like, or they doing some stuff you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. You can stand on your moral compass and have your boundaries. Like, nah, I ain't with that. I'm good on that. I'm straight. Because at the point of your life, it's a group of y'all. Everybody's going to eventually be on a different level. Everybody's going to be on a different level. So when you're on a different level, a lot of things you're not going to do anymore. Like the club phase, for example. Everybody went through their club phase. But you get to a certain part of your life, you be like, man, I don't want to go to the club, because your mind is focused on more important things, and you better yourself. You think about a career, you think about your education, you thinking about setting your kids up for, you know what I'm saying, legacy with them, and you're trying to start your own business where you don't have to work for anybody, and all of those things, those high vibrational thoughts, those conscious, them Christ conscious thoughts that you want to improve and better yourself daily. That's what your mind should be on. We all go through those phases when we enjoy one part of our life and then we elevate. We enjoy another part of life and we elevate. Some spots are too small for you now. You outgrow those spots. You outgrow those areas. But nobody should ever adjust to somebody else's energy. You should have your own identity. That's why you see a lot of people. You see a lot of cloud chasing. That's why you see a lot of people that's grouped together. They can't be individually. They can't individualize. They have to have a crew that's going to define them. If you know, you know. You have to not be afraid to walk by yourself, because the path to the better version of yourself is a difficult path, and nobody can go with you. So a lot of things that we, like I said, a lot of things that we operate out of before we got to the point where you're like, you know what? I don't deserve that. Why am I entertaining in this? Like, that moment, you're not becoming, you're remembering, because in you everything is what God put in you for a reason. He made everybody differently for a reason. So there's no point in getting caught up on what somebody else is doing or how their ideology works for them. Everything doesn't work for everybody. You have to be able to know who you are. You have to take that time. That's what that silence is for. And if you don't know who you are, it's because you are misaligned. And these are some, like I said, these are some of the steps that I wrote down, the things that I thought when I was going through my process of misalignment. And understanding that, man, listen, we all deserve better. We all deserve the best. God said we should do greater things. And what he said, we should do greater things. We're more than conquerors. So those words of empowerment and encouragement aren't just said, just black, white letters on paper. You know, we have to take those things and go deep, go down a rabbit hole about them. What does that phrase mean to you? You shall do greater things. Okay, what things greater shall you do? That's when you pray for your purpose, and that's when you be like, Lord, it's got to be more than this for me, because I know that's something that I said on my journey. It's more than this for me. It's got to be more. And when you're going through misalignment, you're not going to feel like yourself. You're going to feel something eternally. You're going to be like, man, I don't know if I really want to keep. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be, you don't want to be around certain people. You want to be around certain environments. You don't want to have certain vibes. Some vibes just like, okay, I experienced to have a t-shirt with my name on it. Okay, that's not going to help me. And it's a process of elimination. That's what life is all about, because you're going to have experiences. You're going to have experiences until you wake up and realize what's what for you. Because everybody has different rules and guidelines and boundaries in their life. Everybody does. So until that point, a lot of times our thought process, like I said, the internal misalignment, the thoughts and the truth, your thoughts can hold you back from reaching your purpose to get in alignment. The environment, the people you're around can hold you back from reaching your better self. It's a lot of things, a lot of variables that go into place that can affect you. So we just have to realize and understand, let me take a step back and look at my life. What's adding to me and what's subtracting. And we have to evaluate every part of our life, whether it's family, friends, significant other, little boo thing, side chick, side dude, whatever. Like, you have to evaluate everything, even if it's your job, your career. You talk to God and meditate and get closer to him to see what's important, what you should be doing. Because I think we really can't discover our purpose until we understand who we are and understand what we deserve. The more you love yourself, the more that you'll get to the point to where you're at alignment. And that's basically my steps and what I had to do. I honestly had to love myself more. You have to love yourself more, because nobody's going to love you like you love you. Nobody's going to have you like you have you. We all have to realize that. We've all experienced that. We've all said that. But when things start happening and life starts to change, you have to put action behind it. You can acknowledge it, but what are you going to do? You can't just have the idea and not use it. You can't have the information that don't apply to your life. That'll be the contradicting effort to do that. But yes, so during this part of your being, you're going through this other pattern. And it's the standards that God has set for you. Everybody has their own personal standards that God has set for them. Everyone has it. So you have an assigned position where God's put in you what you're going to do, your goals, your purpose He has for you in your life. Everybody's purpose is different. Everybody's purpose may look crazy to somebody else, but it's your purpose, it's nobody else's. So your assigned purpose, we getting distracted, acting out of ego, acting out of emotions, acting out of impulses, and then we get off the position, we get off the block, we get off our pivot, and you're never supposed to lose your pivot. You had knowledge of things and we misused it, and that's not for everybody. That's for, in a sense of, we've all had certain information we've manipulated to our best of our abilities, in a sense of whether it's a good intentions or not. Even when you can see the truth and you're dissecting it to make it look good, you're manipulating that negativity into a positive light. That's manipulation too. You're manipulating something negative and you just missing it, and you're just trying to make it something good even when there's nothing good. And we've all done that. I'll be the first to admit that. We've ignored red signs. We've seen what God has shown us and we've ignored it and manipulated the situation like, it's going to be okay. We're going to try to change this into this. Trying to change somebody when they don't want to be changed. That's manipulation. Even if you're trying to influence them or trying to give them amount of yourself to change them, or you're trying to work harder to get this promotion even when they denied you. You have to look at it from those different lenses, different angles of life. Because you misused the sign that God showed you. You're not using it. Like He said, hey, that's a no, but you still run through it. That's misuse. We've done that so much, and that's when we end in misalignment. Like I said, emotional, we're acting off of impulses, and we're acting out of desire. That's what we're acting out of. And we created an imbalance. You create an imbalance. When you move when God tells you not to move, we create an imbalance. That's how we get into misalignment. We get into the abusive relationship. That's how we get into a lot of things. And we have to think about it. Every decision you make has a positive and negative connotation behind it. Everything. Because what it says in the Bible, every time I try to do good, evil is always present. So if evil is always present, whether you're doing something you consider right or wrong, when you're weighing out your options, it's always going to be a test. It's always going to be a challenge. We should always expect that. That's why it's so important. We have to learn how to sit with ourselves and learn how to dance in the rain. Learn how to dance during the storm. Because it's not always going to be promised to be sunny days. It's not. And it took me a long time to swallow that pill. Like, you be going and going and going, and you think about it, you be like, man, is it ever going to get any easier? But the more you keep pushing, the more you understand the foundation and the basics of what you should focus on, and everything else is a distraction. That's when the alignment comes. But the power without alignment creates destruction. It creates destruction. And that's when you think about it. Our relationship skills, when we're misaligned, it's not good. We feel like it's good, but it's not. Our parenting skills, when we're misaligned, it's not good. We think it is. Our leadership skills are tainted when we're misaligned. And we think that, okay, we got to figure it out, or we moving in the right direction. And it's like we fall flat on our face every time. And this is, like I said, this is a cold pill you have to swallow, like especially when you're holding yourself accountable for the things that you participated in and the things that you allowed in your life. Then your self-identity. You don't know who you are. You're picking up things along the way from when you were adolescents all the way up. I want to do this when I get up. I want to drive a car like that. I want to work right here. I want to do that. But we don't even pray to see what God has for us. Like, Lord, what you got for me? What would be the best decision for me to make? To put myself in a better position for me and my family. And as bizarre as it sounds, that's exactly what we need to do. So some people may sound crazy, but we're supposed to walk by faith and not by sight. That's what we're supposed to do. Because you really have to understand, you have to sit with yourself. That's why being able to sit in your peace is important, because you really discover your self-identity. You discover who you are. You really will. You really will discover who you are. Because nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason. Pain is the catalyst for change. When you go through that painful moment in your life, that moment that makes you want to just get up and do better, improve your life, that's that thing in your soul from your nervous system wake you up from that pain that you experienced, from a bad relationship or a career that just fell from the bottom. Like, everything has a positive light in it, but we have to find it, because we don't miss the mark. And when things don't go the way we want it to go, it's not that it's a no from God, it's redirection, because he doesn't have it for you. He has something better for you. And that's important, to look at the cup half full and not half empty. I really went down a big wormhole about this, y'all. Like, it was a big rabbit hole. Like, I was just thinking, this is self-evaluation. You measure yourself on where you were and where you are now, and the decisions you made, and how can you do everything the opposite of what you done when you were misaligned. Because when you misaligned, you can't take that energy into when you become in aligned. You have to cut the surf. You have to cut that off. You have to release those mindsets, those thoughts, those environments, and those people that don't mean you any good. But misalignment affects a lot of things. But like just like I said, it's a silent ninja. It's definitely a silent ninja. Because your relationships, it requires 100% on both sides. Your parenting skills, it requires 100% on both sides. And it's the same thing it requires in everything. Patience, presence, acknowledgement, love, selflessness. And what's another word I want to put in there with that? It's so many words, but I'm not going to read out that whole list, y'all, because I got a whole list of words that go in with that. But yes, all of that stuff, is familiar. All that stuff is collaborated together in relationships, because everything is all about connections and relationships, whether it's your boss, whether it's your job, whether it's your sister, your mom, your dad, your best friend. It's all about connections. It's all about communication. It's all about relationships. It's all about relations. That's what it's all about. And this is how misalignment creates chaos. Because when you pick the wrong person, you're in the wrong relationship, it's going to show you're going to have emotional confusion. When you have emotional confusion, you're like, man, I did not sign up for this. You be like, I did not sign up for this. Like, what? Where did this come from? Like, because we didn't use our discernment, we ignored those red flags, because we were acting out of impulse. Like, man, they look good. Oh, man, I like their vibe. Oh, man, we always have a good time. Oh, man, hey, they got some good jewelry. You know, it's different things that have you in that situation, but it's emotional confusion. Because your boundaries are not being respected and what you need is not being met. But then you put on it because you're trying to appreciate the other things in life, but you're overlooking the things that you really need. But that's how it goes. That's that emotional confusion. And then the wrong environment. You need certain things to help you grow. You know, if you're disciplined and you decide you want to change your mind and change your energy or change your environment, you're going to basically change things in your life. And it's gonna be conducive, and it's gonna be able to shelter your growth, where it can just keep on pushing you, and that place will always be present. But the wrong place, the wrong environment, you're gonna have limited growth. It's gonna be toxic, it's gonna be shallow, it's gonna be surface level. The wrong environments, it's gonna basically keep you caught up in that loop, caught up in the standard, what we were taught, what we were told to believe. And also, you have the wrong mindset. Self-sabotage. If your mindset isn't conditioned, you don't have a strong mind to walk the lines of success and walk through life and handle situations, you can't handle every situation the same. You can't have the same mindset in every situation. Sometimes you have to look at the whole picture. It's different perspectives to every action. So many different perspectives. And you'll self-sabotage. Have the wrong mindset, you're definitely self-sabotage, because you're going to be uncomfortable. When you're not used to anything that's peaceful, that's calm, it's going to feel uncomfortable. If you're not used to anything very encouraging. It's very heavy. It's very demanding of you, all of you, to get in alignment. That's going to be a difficult task. And it was definitely a difficult task for me on my journey, because you have to let old mindsets go. Everything that you think you knew when you were on this journey, forget it. Everything you experienced before you get to that point to where you want to do something better for yourself, forget it, because none of the ideology is going to matter in this place. None of it. Yes, your survival mindset helps you accomplish a lot to get to this point, but going across that threshold to be in alignment, you got to forget everything that you thought you ever knew, because this is different. The rules are different. The energy is different. It's very divine. It's very deep. It's very personal, because the whole time you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're looking at yourself in the mirror. You have to be able to take that. You have to be able to apply that to your life. But what do you build out of misalignment? When you build out of a misalignment, you have to maintain through struggle. So anything that you build out of misalignment, you have to maintain through struggle. Now you take a moment to think about that. That's really deep. Whatever you build out of misalignment, you have to maintain during struggle. You have to. Because whatever you're trying to build, you have to understand why you're building it, what's the purpose of it being built, and what you're going to do after it's built. What's your goal you're trying to accomplish? You have to have a plan set in place for every part of your life, even in the darkest part where you misalign. You have to have an escape plan. You have to have thoughts in your mind that, hey, I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. I'm just not going to just live in this moment. I'm not where I need to be or not where I want to be. That's when your priorities have to kick in. Like, what's important to me? Is my peace more important? Or is these people that I'm entertaining that don't really care about me and this fake love, is this important? You have to make that decision. And the decision isn't emotional. It's not a feeling. When you're ready, it's not. Ready is a decision. When you make your mind up to change your life and you want to do better for yourself. We all go through that point to where you like, you know what? It's got to be more than this. When I spoke of earlier in the life, when you get to that point, that's when you get into your realignment process. That's when you can really sit down and be like, I don't feel the same. My energy ain't right. Then that's your awareness kicking in, because you're like, dang, something off. I'm not feeling like myself. I don't feel like that person who I said I was. I don't feel like that person that I've built and survived this whole life to say who I am. I don't feel like that person. That's when you know. That's the beginning of your realignment process. Because the first step of healing is what? Acceptance. Admittance. Hey, I got a problem. Hey, I got an issue. Hey, something ain't feeling right. Then it's the separation. You're going to remove yourself from what's not aligned to get quiet to yourself to really figure this thing out. Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like it's just, everything is just not right? Everything is falling apart. Right, Cam, right. Most people don't have an end goal. Most people don't. That is true. That is true. A lot of people don't have an end goal. But we all need one. We have to. We have to put our feet to the fire to stand up and leave something for our kids to be like, hey, my dad, my parents, blah, blah, blah. They made a way for me, but they got it out the mud, so I didn't have to get out the mud. I can get it out the garden. You have to have that type of level of dedication and discipline when it comes to your life. Whether you have kids or whether you don't. It's a level of discipline that's required. Another one is stillness. After you aware it's a problem, after you separate from it to gather your thoughts, you got to sit in that stillness. That's when you go into your isolation, which is really your healing phase. And now you stop forcing movement. You stop forcing yourself to go around people. You stop going to participate in things that you don't want to participate in. You really taking time to really pay attention to everything within yourself. And during that process, that requires stillness. That requires no outside noise. That requires no distractions. That requires you and your full existence and your full attention. Because you'll know. That's how I took mine when I went into my isolation. I felt like, I ain't gonna say I felt, because I know. God was basically telling me, I need your full attention. I need your full existence on this. You asked me what your purpose is, and this is what you wanted, you prayed about, so this is what we got to do. And you have to listen. He's going to tell you. It's just, you just have to want to do it for yourself. And this is a very difficult process. Like Cam said, a lot of people don't want to have an end goal. They don't want to get out of that loop because it's so familiar and it's so comfortable. It's what they know. But two things that the world don't like is what they can't control and what they don't understand. That's two things this world does not like. And I came to that conclusion years ago. Man, I came to that conclusion so long ago. Alignment, guys. When you come out of misalignment, alignment is going to cost you people. It's going to cost you habits. It's going to cost you your comfort. That's what alignment costs you. And you put that on the scale to weigh it. Alignment is going to cost you your peace. Alignment is going to cost you people, habits, and comfort. So the things that you love to do, the habits that you have that don't nobody know about, the things that keep you comfortable, the peaceful place in the midst of the misalignment, outside in the toxicity, in the irregulated peace, because that's what it is. It's irregulated peace. Like, it's disguised as peace, but it's really not. That's what alignment is going to cost you. It's going to show you who people are, what things really are. You're not going to be fooled. You're not going to be blinded by it. You're going to be able to see it for what it is, but you're not going to be able to turn your head from it. You're going to be focused on it. But would you rather lose people, habits, and comfort, or lose yourself? Because misalignment helps you lose yourself. That's what misalignment does. You lose yourself in the shadows, in the smoke and mirrors of what success has told you, what the word told us success is. Well, the word has told us what love is. What love has told us what religion is. What love has told us what everything is. And we're blinded. We're fooled by it. That's why it's so important to pray for discernment, because things are never what they are. Things are never what they are. And I wrote down these three questions. In what I was asking myself in my life to analyze and pinpoint what I need to work on within myself to continue to improve. I wrote down, what do you feel off right now? What part of your life right now feels off? If you take time to think about it, you don't have to answer it right now. You can answer it later, a week from now. But think about it. What do you feel right now? What is off right now in your life? What are you hanging on to that's out of position? What are you holding on to right now that's out of position? And we have to look at ourselves and evaluate the whole panoramic view and decide and ask ourselves these other two questions. Are we aligned, or are we just comfortable? So it's always good to take a wellness check every day, because the goal is to be better every day. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Just live in the moment. Your life should never be in comparison to anybody. We should never be jealous or focus on anybody, because we took time to focus on ourselves and work on ourselves and focus on the things that we need to do to be better every day than we were the day before. We don't have no time to worry about everybody that's going on. We won't have time for it. So it's important to really answer these questions, not for me, because I'm answering for myself, but answering for you and yourself. What do you feel is off right now in your life? Honestly, 100%. You don't have to put it in the chat. You have to put it on the live. But self-evaluate yourself. What do you feel right now is off in your life that's out of alignment? What are you holding on to that's out of position? That's outside of the boundaries of you being in alignment? And everything that you're doing right now from your journey, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, the ugly, are you aligned, or are you just comfortable? Those are questions that I just wanted to ask you guys. Because you think about it, those are the very questions that we need to keep ourselves in check and hold ourselves accountable for the decisions we make, the things that we say, the energy we carry, the way we move, and the way we view ourselves. Because self-love and self-care is very important. I know the word told us it's not. I know the religious word told us that you're not supposed to love yourself. Self-love and self-care is very important. You have to. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you say you love God? If you don't trust yourself, how can you trust God? We have to think about it. Because he breathes breath in us and he made us in his image. So if he's in us, the church is here. This is the church. So if this is us, this is what God is. He's in us, right? Then why we can't love ourselves? Why we can't view ourselves other than what the world said we're supposed to be or what we look like? Those are some very, very deep questions for us to analyze ourselves and take ourselves accountable and have those uncomfortable conversations with yourself. You don't have to let nobody know what your answer is to those questions. That's you. That's your personal journey. What do you feel off right now in your life? What are you holding on to that's not in alignment right now? That's out of position. That's out of bounds. And out of your body of work or what you built in your life. And you look at your life right now as you lay in your bed, rub your feet together, get ready for work in the morning. Are you aligned or are you just comfortable? Food for thought. I appreciate y'all tuning into my live. It's been a very beautiful journey. Like I said, episode 54, Juice Word Podcast, year 2, season 2. Yeah, season 2. I like that better. Season 2. This has been a beautiful journey. It's been very revealing. It's been very difficult. It has. Because we all think we're good. Till we realize that every part of our life, before we realize the truth. Because they said once you know better, you do better. But before you know better, you think you know better. You think you're doing better. But we're really not. We're doing ourselves a disservice. Everything we meant to protect us, that we built this wall of protecting us from the things that we experienced in life. Those are protecting us, yes, but it's hindering us at the same time. Because we're meant to absorb. We're not meant to absorb. We're meant to observe experiences in life. You have many experiences. You never go through life without having experiences by meeting people, places, things, good situations, all the way to ugly situations. That's part of it. But what do you do with those experiences? Are you paying close attention to those experiences? Are you taking out the intricate part of things that you need, that you hear, that you be like, dang, I ain't think about it like that. That's the thought process that friends around you should do. You should be having a friendly banter, an intellectual banter, whether it's passionate, whether it's aggressive, whether it's whatever what it is. You have to hold each other accountable. Your community, your tribe. You guys have to hold each other accountable. I encourage everybody to get to themselves and evaluate themselves. We can't control what's going on in the world, but you can control how you respond to. You can control how you respond to people, period. You can control how your life goes. It's all about how you think. What you think is going to appear in your life. So that's why it's so important to speak life and not death. Because it's not just what you speak. It's how you pray. It's that thought in the back of your head, that real nasty thought that don't nobody hear. That, all of that stuff. Even when you joking, be careful what you say. Because whatever you joke, whatever you speak, you're going to project. So be careful what you project. Be careful how you carry yourself. Be careful the energy you give off. Because all of that is going to project how your life is. You can't have a positive life if you have a negative mindset. If you're a negative Nancy and negative Ned, then it ain't going to work. It's not. It's so important. But I appreciate y'all love. I appreciate y'all support on this journey. I know I tapped in a little late tonight. You know, you got to rest. Reset, restart, or refocus. Long week at work, but hey, I'm here. I wouldn't miss this for the world. I enjoy coming to you guys, dropping gems, dropping knowledge. I'm praying that this helps somebody. I really am. Like, I'm praying that it helps. I'm going to keep on rolling. This is the best thing we can do, is have uncomfortable conversations and not sweep things under the rug. Take accountability. Stand up for you did. Take ownership of it. Own it. That's you. God made your darkness and your light. That's you. Own it. Own it. But I appreciate y'all love. Like I said, I appreciate y'all support. Y'all have a blessed night. Y'all have a great day at work. All right. Y'all be blessed.